Hello, ladies and gentlemen out there on the internet. Welcome to the James Murua Literary Podcast. I'm your host, James Murua. This live stream is brought to you in partnership with Frankfurter Buchmesse, with funding from the German federal government. I'm really excited with our guest today. We have Annette Michael from Germany, and we have Mariette. How do you pronounce your name, Mariette? We'll learn that just now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the two of them to introduce themselves, and then we can start the discussion. We'll start with you, Mariette. Please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Take out your mute. You're muted.
Yes, it's okay now. You're hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. I was saying hello. My name is Mariette TCHAMDA. I'm Cameroonian.
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so I'm a Cameroonian. I'm a freelance translator, and as I used to say, self-made publisher. I started publishing 2 years ago, and I have just one book on the market now. So I'm still a beginner in the field.
Okay. Are you ready? Yeah.
Okay.
Annette Michael, I'm the publisher of Orlando Verlag in Berlin, based in Berlin. We are a quite new publishing house, founded in 2017, focusing on women and world culture with our program and all the movements on the world that are going on right now, like migration and all these issues. Yeah. That's it.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Mariette. And thank you, Pauline, for your hello. We get you loud and clear from Facebook. What we're going to do is we're going to start with you, Mariette, because I am biased to people who are on the same continent as myself. You said you're a freelance translator. And you are a teacher first. How did you transition from being a teacher to being a freelance translator?
Mariette, you're
muted, huh?
Sorry, I always forget.
You're muted.
Okay. Oh, I'm seeing my friends around here. Hey, Pauline and Edwige. So I was saying that I'm not a trained teacher. I'm a trained translator. So I used to teach just adults. Yes, French as a foreign language. Yes. So I studied the translation in a local university, and I've been working for more than 7 years now as a freelance translator.
Okay, so you have been a translator for the last 7 years, and then what happened that suddenly you started becoming? What made you think about publishing or getting into publishing?
Okay. Yes, I've always loved book. Of course, I always loved reading, but around here, you know, if you say to your parents you want to be a publisher or you want to be a writer, that will not be welcome. They just guess that you will not have money, you will not be able to take care of yourself. So I was not courageous enough to tell my parents I want to do literature, I want to earn my living by reading or writing or publishing. But then 2 years ago, I was looking for a book, and I was not satisfied because I did not see any book that I liked. Nothing was well published. Nothing was beautiful. You know, we always have those dark covers, those so gloomy, and then the stories are always so sad. Women are always complaining. Life is difficult. Marriage is difficult. Children, everything is difficult. So I was saying, but how is that our Cameroonian literature is never like happy. There's never nothing, I don't know, funny. Yes, there was nothing funny, nothing, everything looked the same. So I said that I should do something different. And why women? Because that is something else. When you enter a bookstore, you see maybe 80% of men, 80% of men and 20% of women. And I've seen that even now, as I started, I said I just want to publish women, but I still have 80% of my of the proposals of the stories are sent by men, though I need women, and I have to cut women. I have to go after them to encourage them to express themselves. So that is why I exist, to encourage women to write about their story and to show their everyday life, not just the sad part of it.
James, where are you?
James?
Can you hear us? Do you see us?
Okay, so so Annette, maybe we get you in here. You also have a language background in your you also have a bit of a language background.
Yes.
With with Italian and German and English.
Yeah.
How was your journey into the publishing space from that language background?
It was a bit different because when I started my career, like over 30 years ago, I started it in publishing. And at that time, it was...
Annette, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Hello? Hello, hello, hello?
I am hearing you. I don't know why James is not hearing us.
He's frozen now, so I don't know.
Yes, I think it's a network problem, maybe.
I don't know. Should I continue or we're waiting for James? Okay, maybe we can. Okay. I started my career in publishing, and that more than 30 years ago. And James, are you back? No, he's not.
I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was asking you, like, you also have a bit of a language background, with Italian and then, with your English. Yeah. How did you get into the publishing space? Was it as conflicted as with Mariette?
No, my mother forced me to go into publishing, but it was more in the commercial department of publishing. So I started my career over 30 years in a quite big publishing house, and it was like my turf. That was my thing. I wanted to get a publisher or a press agent. I really loved books and making books and everything. But at that time, without a college degree, as a woman, you couldn't do anything. You would end behind a typewriter at that time because personal computers didn't exist. And so after working for over 3 years there, I decided I have to improve my education. And so I went to Berlin and studied literature, communication, and Italian. And always wanted to get back to publishing, but I never could. I never did because there were other opportunities. I worked for radio stations. I worked in communications and PR. And then, like 4 years ago, I met my colleague with whom I founded the publishing house. And she was working in publishing in a women's publishing press for more than 20 years. And so we decided that we would do that together and like to restart, to start a publishing house with a very, very small focus, like women and all the things that to us are important in the world. But the main focus, women.
Okay, how has the journey been so far?
It was a lot of work. And you don't, and I have to agree with Mariette, you don't do that to become rich, you know, because there are a few big publishers, publishing houses, bestsellers, you know, and selling like the new book of Obama. And after 1 week in Germany, you had, after 300,000 copies, they had to reprint it after 1 week. So with a focus on women and the topic we cover, you probably might never have a bestseller, you know. And so you don't do it to become rich, but you do it because you want to contribute something to the world or to make things better. And I really like your idea, Mariette, and I also like the stories you sent me. The idea of also like making people laugh and making their times and days a little better.
I like that you brought up this book, Mariette. You've been publishing for 2 years, but you've only been able to publish one title. Is there a reason for this? Because I always assume publishers would do more than one book, or a year, or maybe one book after a certain time.
Yes, you are right. The thing is that I don't have that. Well, there are enough people submitting, but the quality is not good. So there's a lot of work, and I am by myself. You know, I work just alone. If you don't have enough money to pay people to read the story, it's not easy. So, and it took me more than 6 months to work on this one. Yes, it took me more than 6 months. And let me tell you, before that, I've been courting that woman for almost 2 years because I really loved what she did, but she did not want to come in the open. So I had to court her like every day and tell her, no, it would be good, you'll be known internationally. And you know, even though I told her that, she published anonymously, so people even don't know who she is. You know, I don't know why it's so difficult with women here around in Cameroon. Those who are talented, they don't want to come in the open. I don't know why. So it's not easy even now.
Tell me about this book, Être, femme, métier, plein, temps, and the author is Koutoukoute. Please.
Yes. This is it.
Tell us about this book. I read a few essays. What is it about?
Okay, actually, the book is about women, you know, just their daily life. We tell things that are serious or more light stories, but in a way which is funny, you know. At times the stories are serious, but they are not complaining. Yes, they are not complaining. They don't want to say, oh, we are poor this, we are poor that. No, they just tell their stories like you are talking to a friend. And I love that because when you read it, you can identify yourself to the main character, you know. Yes, when you read it, and and it's very funny. We have 20 stories like that, the same kind of adventures, you know. One woman in a particular situation. It's like we call it screenshots. Actually, these are screenshots. Yes, just a short episode in your day or in your life. Just a short episode. We just present it like that. That was the idea.
I have to say that I really love the two pieces you sent me. You know, the naughty grandma and the story about this woman who was trying to get the man to contribute more to his upkeep. Great story.
Yes, that's actually our daily life.
Yeah, is this a typical way that is this a typical way of writing in Cameroon, or is it unique to this woman writer? I'm assuming it's a woman.
Yes, it's a woman. I only publish women. So I
Yes.
did not really get your question. You are
No, I'm
asking.
saying the short stories, is that the way it typically happens? Is that the style in Cameroon, or is she bringing
Yes.
something new to the table?
No. There's nothing new. It's just, I think it's the first woman to say it like that. But actually, this is just our daily life, the way we as women were brought up, kind of somehow depending on men. That story of the girl. Yes, at times it's like that. Even when you are working, even if you are earning a living, you need a man to contribute to this or that. That's our daily life, and this is what she's depicting.
So how was the book received when it came out?
Oh, okay. I would say that it was a success. Here we are not used to buying books in Cameroon. We love people read, but they don't know how to, like, to go to a bookstore. Most of the people around they think that people who read are just scholars, intellectuals. So, and this is one of the reasons I chose this book or these stories, because they show that no, reading, okay, those stories, they have nothing exceptional, and the style is very down to earth, so everyone can read that. And I can say that, yes, people love the stories. They talk about it on Facebook, in the street. And now, like this, when I stroll with a book, when someone sees it, okay, just give me your book. So at times, there are friends, they bought their books, and when they go out, someone in the street just says, I want that book, please give it to me. But of course, it was not perfect. Some people thought that it was not a good example of the society, that we were not giving a good image of women. But I used to say that we are not trying to give a good or bad image. We are just depicting what is happening out there. That's all. We are not saying that women should be like this or should not be like that. Yeah, so some people complain, and then there are some parts which are very hot. There are sex scenes, and a few people complain about that too, that there is sex in
Wow.
the book.
I'm seeing people who are your fans, the fans of the book. Alina here is saying we love the book. Here, Eva, Cynthia is saying the book is just wow. It looks like you're doing something interesting with this, something new with this that is not being done by women. Perhaps we can bring in Annette in here. You read the short stories. What did you think, Annette?
First of all, when I saw the title, I really loved it. So I thought it's a great title, like a full-time job. Being a woman is a full-time job. And then I read The Naughty Granny, and you didn't see it coming, and I loved the end when she changes the whole thing, and because she's not more, she accuses the other, because and she gets out of the scene. So I think it's really great. I loved it, really.
Yeah, so let me just read a quick comment here from Edwish Draw. A short passage from the fashion story. Yes, the prayer of a wealthy woman is different from the prayer of a girl from Nyamtom. The first pray slowly, always starts with thanks, always with thanksgiving. My God, in the secret of my heart, I come to you, thanking you for your goodness. It is digest. It is. This is from the Naughty Grandmother. I really enjoyed that story.
Yes.
First of all, congratulations. Not many people have books out there, Mariette. Annette, you started as well as a...
Can I ask Mariette something? Because when
Yes.
you introduced yourself, you said you're a self-made publisher, but who's not a self-made publisher? Everyone is a self-made publisher. I think it's quite courageous, as one woman to take the effort and to do that. I really appreciate it, and I think it's a good thing to do. Very courageous, also. I hope parents
Thank you.
now. I hope your parents are proud of you now.
I think Mariette, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that my parents are no more alive, but I'm sure they are proud. And then the rest of the family too. I think they are proud. I can see that.
Good.
I'm not rich yet.
So, Annette, maybe we can bring you in here. I mean, when you started in 2017, your interest was feminist. You know, you said you're starting a feminist. What you're starting was a feminist publishing house or focus on publishing. Are you still doing that, or has anything changed in the recent past?
It has changed in that way that we are also publishing men, but we are only publishing. No, not only publishing. We have published some, I think 3 books of men, but those are homosexuals too. And one is a man who's writing really strong women. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. It's unbelievable. So, but yeah, we are trying to focus on women and the needs. And you know, we also don't have only fiction. We have a lot of non-fiction. For example, like books other publishers won't do for survivors of sexual abuse and things like that. So, and we have a series of books of Afro-Germans, only women, like Black women in Germany, and it's also more. It's non-fiction. It's not. We don't have any fiction, so we're waiting for the manuscript to be sent in, because that's what we are missing here in Germany is fiction from Black women. There are now some, but I think it could be a lot more, as Philip the other day mentioned too. You know, in the other.
So. Because we're trying to exchange and learn from each other, would you like to share with us a bit about the publishing scene in Germany from your eye as a smaller publisher? How is the scene there?
It's diverse, you know, and we are small. There are a lot of small independent publishers, and there is a foundation, the Koutoukoute Foundation, who's helping us and bringing us together and doing some lobbyism for the independent publishers, because I think as an independent publisher you have completely different problems than the big publishing houses, you know. And I think the scene is diverse. There are the big publishers with more money, and so we as independent publishers, we're not struggling, but it's really a hard job to get your books done and to be able to do more books, because it's always depending on how much you can sell, you know. And it's it's not the bestsellers we are doing. Sometimes one is lucky and has a bestseller, but normally not. So, yeah.
So do you mind me asking, which is the biggest book that you've published in the last 3-4 years? The
biggest in the
bestseller.
We just have one here. It's from a Black German. She has Nigerian parents and was born. She came with her parents to Germany and was born in Germany and was given at a very small age to a German foster mother, a white single mother in the end of the 60s. And this is her autobiography, and it's it's a quite interesting story. And I think in the following of Black Lives Matter, there is also quite a request for stories like that. I think a year ago it wouldn't have done so good as it does this year.
Okay. I really like. I'd like to know more about this book, but this will have to do away from this from this recording.
Yep.
Mariette, maybe we can come back to you. because you're the only person who's from Cameroon here, would you like to tell us a little bit about the Cameroon publishing scene? We have been there for 2 years, so you know a bit about it. You know, do you have big festivals? Do you have award ceremonies for writers? How do people launch books? That kind of thing. Just give us an idea of how the Cameroon publishing scene is like.
Yes. From what I've been seeing, I just have the impression that everyone is struggling on his own in Cameroon. Yeah. As publishers, for example, I don't know many prices. You know, every publishing house can have a small price like that, but there's not something which is national. You know, which federates many publishers. No, each one everyone is doing something on his own. I myself was thinking about something for women. And concerning the launching, it's the same thing, you know, small publishers, not enough money, you know, it's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. We are we are struggling. But the thing is that there are many young publishers. So I'm meeting some of them because, yes, I want us to federate to do something different, something that the elders, they did not do, you know. Of course, concerning maybe there are festivals or fairs, we have what we call La Foire du Livre de Yaoundé, Yaoundé's book fair, which is supposed to happen once a year, but does not. Yes, I think the last edition was in 2018. Of course, it's well attended. You know, we have writers and publishers from all around the world, but it's something that does not happen much. And it's like, yes, it's once in a while, and I don't know, they are not, I'm not seeing any other events like that, you know, like those I'm seeing in other countries in West Africa. Yes, I'm not seeing the world of publishing in Cameroon is not really alive. It's not really alive, and I think it's a bit once because of money and because we are not united. You know, everyone is struggling on his own. That's it.
Oh, wow, that's great. So without an infrastructure, without systems, how have you been like marketing and distributing the book title? Talula wants to know what's the name of the book. How have you been marketing and distributing it?
Okay. Hey Talula, the title of the book, Être, femme, métier à plein temps. So being a woman is a full-time job. That's the idea. And like you said, marketing. Okay. The book is in 3 libraries in Yaoundé. And again, the problem of money, you know, the percentage, what they take is usually they take about the bookstores, not libraries, bookstores. They take about 30% of the book, which is too big for me because I'm selling the book at 5,000. You know, I did not want to go above that to encourage people to buy. I wanted to sell cheap books. So when you sell books that this cheap, putting them in bookstores is not it's not interesting financially. Yes, so we exchange with people who have stores. If they can put the book in the store and maybe just take 5%, 10%, which is acceptable, you know. And there's not I don't know, a normal system for distribution. I just send books. Okay, I have a friend who is in North Cameroon. I will send her book and she will sell it there. I have a friend in the West. I'm sending it. You know, you saw my friend Edwige here from Côte d'Ivoire. She has a library in Côte d'Ivoire. I sent books there and she's selling them. But there's not normal conventional channel for distributing or selling. You know, my friends are helping me. Friends, fellow writers or publishers, yes, they are helping me in the country and abroad.
Yeah,
Annette? No?
to the German book market, I don't know if you want to know how it is in Germany, because it's like, compared to you, it's paradise, because you have
Actually, I actually want to know about that. How is the distribution and marketing there? How much is a typical? How many books have to be for a book to be called a bookseller? How many books have to be sold? That's something I always like to know. Like, what is considered a book?
I don't know.
A bestseller.
50,000 and more. I mean,
Wow.
the Obama book was 300,000 in 1 week, but that's an exception,
Yes.
It's like, I would say it over 50,000. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about the German space as well. How is the distribution and marketing happens for a publisher like yourself?
That is really paradise. If you get into the distribution chain, everything's set, because you have the fixed book price. Everyone in Germany has to pay the same price. There's no sale, no bargain, nothing. And then you have a distributor who keeps your books and who's selling it to the book wholesalers or to the libraries. So every book can be in your local library the next day when you order it, and it's available. So it's a very, very organized thing, Germany, But I mean, that's compared to you, it's paradise, And then you have, for example, the list of all available books. If you list your books in there, every bookstore in Germany or in the German-speaking region is able to find the book, So that's a really good organized. Then we have to also give percentages between. It's depending on to who you sell your books. It's between 30 and 55% for Amazon, for example. So they take a lot of money from your fixed price, but still, it's
how much is a book in? I mean, Mariette said her book was 55,000 CFA. I'm assuming.
That in euro.
Yeah.
How much do you know? How much that is in euro?
About 8-9.
Yeah. Okay. So our books.
No. Yes, 8-10. Yes, 8-9 euros. Yes.
Okay, that's like a paperback book in Germany, between like 8 and 16 euros. So we don't have paperbacks. Our books are between 14 and 22. If it is a very complicated and colored book, then maybe it costs also 27 euros.
Okay. I'm really enjoying this discussion about publishing. I want to pivot a bit to you, Annette. You said you started. You're starting a series on African literature.
Yeah.
And a lot of Africans, I'm sure that very many Africans will be interested to know, what is this series about? What is the idea?
It was because we are publishing the books of Afro-Germans. We decided that we would bring in African literature. And I was at the African Book Festival 2 years ago, where Tchamda and Annette hosted the festival. And I came out and said, it's not possible. Her book, her first book, it was only one book of hers were translated into German, and it was for more than 20 years not available on the German market. And so we decided to bring her book, this Nervous Condition, her first book, in our program. And so we are looking for African titles, because I think here in Europe we don't know so much about Africa and all the the different countries and how it works, and that's also why I liked your book so much, Mariette, because it gives you an insight of how women feel, how they behave, and so it gives you an insight, and it's not just like, I don't know how to say it, sorry, in English. So I think it's interesting. And I think the other, we are translating right now Tsitsi's second book, which was nominated for the Booker Prize, My Discernible Body. No funny, so we are looking for African funny titles, you know, because it's a very, very, in my opinion, it's important, but it's a quite depressing book. I don't know if you have read it already. Yeah.
Yes, I read it, and it is that kind of a book. So, so you're looking for fun/funny titles to complement your African literature series. So, how will it work? Will you be translating them, or are you getting?
That's also one thing. You know, we have since bringing in world culture in our program, it's necessary that we translate titles, which is quite expensive, you know, because you have to pay a translator and everything, and so we would translate them, and the problem, in my opinion, is a bit to get access to the books, because there are some literature agencies in London or in the US who are dealing with licenses for African titles, but and there's also one in the Netherlands. But and that's also why I like the idea about the festival you contributed to this Afro literature. You know, the festival you founded during Corona. The literature.
Oh, I didn't found it. I was just one of the participants.
Yeah.
Afro Lit Sans Frontières. Yeah. I was just one of the people who took part.
Because I think it's by this you can find access, and I also enjoy all the African literature festivals we have here in Germany, and all the efforts that, for example, Litprom is doing in promoting African literature, because so you have the chance to get in contact with publishers and authors and the books.
Thank you for that, Annette. So, Mariette, would you like to maybe look for Annette, and maybe she can publish your book?
Yes, that in fact, that was burning in my mouth. Yes, I was saying, you're looking for funny stories, and these stories are funny. So why? Okay, I'm counting on you to do something about that book. It needs to be published in Germany too, I think so.
So what are you? So are you looking for collaborations, other collaborations like these, Mariette?
Of course, of course, and this is why I'm actually trying to translate it, you know, in English. I want to translate the whole book. Well, that's another discussion, because people were telling me that because of the type of French, it would not be interesting to translate it in a formal English, you know. It would be more interesting in Pidgin, but I want the book to be international. I want the book to discover like other words, because beyond the barrier of the language, I think it's the same stories. I think a woman from Kenya or from South Africa can enjoy, or even from Europe, why just Africa, can enjoy the book. So we need to translate it and to make it known worldwide. So of course, I'm looking for collaborations.
I want to ask you, how did you discover this writer? I mean, if you're saying that she's so reclusive, how did you discover this person?
Yes, actually, she's, like you said, she's reclusive, but she has a Facebook page, you know, where she publishes from time to time. And then one day I was going on Facebook, and then I saw a story. I laughed so hard, like I think it was the first time since, I don't know, since maybe Le Petit Nicolas when I was young, I've never laughed. And it was so intelligent and so funny and so down to earth and so normal. Like, you know, you read a story, you recognize yourself, or you recognize the other women around you. This is very scarce, you know, around here. For me, it was the first time to stumble on a story like that. It was so different. So I wrote to her, and she answered yes. A few days later, I said, I'm a publisher, I want to meet you. And then, okay, she was, I think she was a bit reluctant. She did not want to be published, yes, in a classical way. So I had to convince her. And then we met, yes, and she told me, no, I don't want to be published. So I've been exchanging with her since 2018, yes, to try and convince her. But I'm glad that I'm glad I succeeded in doing that, and I intend to publish more books from her because she writes a lot. You know, she has a lot of stories in store.
First of all, I have to say congratulations. The stories are good. What is a typical print run for you? Like, did you print 1,000 or 5,000 or 500?
Okay, I printed 500. You know, we are very shy here. I don't know. Will it sell? I knew people would love it, of course. I knew everyone who reads it loves it, but will they buy it? So it was a bit of a challenge, you know. I will not put so much money in a book because when I say I printed 500, of course I paid for it, you know, with my own money. So you are a bit shy. You don't want to invest too much money, and because if it doesn't sell, I will not be able to publish other writers, you know. So that's the thing. But I would say I'm quite proud because we published in August, and this is three months later, I sold more than a half, and this is groundbreaking here around. Yes, selling 300 books in Cameroon in 3 months, it's something like a miracle. So I'm very proud of us, and yes, I think we can do better than that.
So what are your plans for the future? What are you? I mean, what do you, apart from this writer who doesn't want to? Who I'm sure now she's very happy to be published. So what are your plans?
Well, my plan is to find other writers, other good writers. It's not easy. I did not have much work with her, you know, because she's a good storyteller, but she's one in a million. We have so many stories, but if I have to work a story like 80% or 70% of the story, that is too much. It's not. It's like it's my book, you know. It's not the writer's book. So I'm looking for stories, and I came up with an idea. You know, I decided to launch a competition. You know, yes, and the award will be 100,000 CFA francs. I think that if you launch something like that, you have more women coming. Like, yes, you have good writers. So I'm working on that because seriously, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for the next writer, but no, I don't have that yet.
Wow, 100,000 CFA francs. So when that happens, please tell us so we can tell more people about it.
Yes.
Mariette, I wanted to ask you: Do you sense a difference between young women from Cameroon and older ones? That the younger are more driven and open to publish or to write and to read, for example?
Sorry, I'm not sure I got you very well.
You didn't understand.
About the age. It's about the age.
It's about the age. Oh.
Are the younger women or the older women? What's the difference?
No. Well, no. I would say no. I don't make any difference. For me, a good story is a good story. You know, I know the kind of story I want to publish, but age is not a problem. Even if you are, I don't know, 8 years old or 20 years old, if you know how to write and if you can portray our culture, if you can portray our daily life, it's okay by me.
No, that's not what I meant, because you said that be published. You know? So I was asking if that's a matter of age. Do you feel that?
I think there is problem with your mic. James, did you get the question?
I got the question. It's about the women are the older women or the younger women more driven than the older women to either getting into publishing or
Yeah, to write.
Oh no, definitely younger women. Definitely they are younger women. Yes, less than 35 years old. Yes, they are the ones who are interested. Yes.
I'm also, if you're in the audience, if you have any questions for these ladies, please post them in the comments. I'd be interested to know what you want to know. I'll just read a few comments here. Let's see. Rain Debbie says the book just deserves more sales. It's an amazing job. Abarita says, thanks, ladies, for the literature by us and for us. Thank you. Eva Cynthia, the marketing is being done all through her friends and to help you do it free of charge. Oh, is that what's happening? It's a community that's coming to help you sell the book.
Yes, that's it. Free of charge. Yes.
No,
all over the country.
You're really cool friends. And of course, Edwige here, thank you, Edwige. She's the one who introduced me to you. So thank you, Edwige. She's asking, whether you'll manage to reveal the identity of Koutoukoute.
Yes, we should have. If you have good incentives, maybe she will come in the open.
But tell me, she's from the story Naughty Granny, I would suppose she's not under 30. Is that right?
I should not say anything about that. I can't answer that question.
Okay.
So I think Talula wants to know more about your books, Annette. Apart from the book you just mentioned in the back, please tell us a bit more about your books.
Okay. I told you about the Afro-German books. We have a lot of books about the issue of refugees. For example, now we're publishing 2 books in this topic. One is from a Syrian who went to Canada, and he's writing. He's Arabic and he's writing in English, and it's a story of his. It's a story about a queer Syria, which we didn't know before that it is possible, because he's homosexual, and he's telling these stories like going back and forth and telling how the situation of gay and lesbian people in Syria was during the war, and how they get abused and not seen in their identity. And it's a very interesting book, I think. So, and the other one is from Suleiman Adonia. I don't know if you know him. He's from Eritrea originally, and we translated his book "Silence is My Mother Tongue" in German. We are translating. I just got on Friday. I got the first draft of the German translation, which is also for us in Germany. I think a quite interesting book, because it's about this experience in this refugee camp in Sudan, and how the world works. And it was really unbelievable, because I was reading the book on Saturday and Sunday, and the translation, and I switched on my radio on Monday, and there was this a man from the refugee camp in Sudan, the people who now have to leave Ethiopia, and he was telling the same things that I read in Suleiman's book the night before. So that's one. I don't know if you like the topic, but I think for us here in Europe, it is very, very important to get the stories behind the news, because normally the news is there was another 200 drowned in the Mediterranean, or there is now a refugee camp on the Canary Islands for all the people coming from Africa, and it's only these empty and awful news, but and nobody cares about the things about the stories behind these musicians, you know, about the people, about their experiences, about their reasons why they think they have to go. And this is also for the Syrian guy, you know, certainly know that we have a lot of refugees brought in 2015 from Syria, Iraq, and so on. So it was a big discussion here if we would be able to deal with that and how it's affecting our society, you know. And I think that's not the main question. For me, the main question is what happens to people that have to leave their home, you know, their homeland? That's the important question. And how can you bring them in, not focusing on the disabilities or, you know, it's always, they don't speak very well German, but it's a resource, because everyone who managed to leave their homeland to go to another country, it's something very important that the person did, and it's making people strong, and you shouldn't always regard it as a defect or something difficult, you know. I don't know if you understood what I meant.
No, I got it. I really love Suleiman Nadonia's book. It's really good. So I'm really excited that you're going to be, you know, the German translators for that. Edwidge is asking the name of your publishing house.
It's called Orlando.
I have to ask, I'm noticing that immigration is a big thing in Germany right now. Is it it's a recent phenomenon, or it's been happening for a long time?
No, I don't know if you followed it. It was in 2015 when there was all these refugees from Syria in Greece and in Turkey, and coming over to Germany and Austria, and so at a certain point there was a very difficult situation in Hungary at the border. And so Angela Merkel said, we have to open the borders, and we will manage to bring these people in and to bring them in our society. And then I think it was about 250,000 that came this year. For example, a lot of unaccompanied minors, you know. And so there was a quite big movement in Germany who welcomed the people and who helped a lot, but that changed then. And then it was more like, oh God, what's happening to our German society with all the Muslims and all
all the foreigners.
And, that was the reason why I came together with my colleague, you know, because we were working with unaccompanied minors, and were legal guardians for two boys from Syria. So we met working with refugees, and that brought us to create the publishing house, and that brought us also to bring this issue of migration into our program, because we thought that's important to understand the stories behind the people, the reasons why they had to leave their countries, and what happened there.
Thank you, Annette. Mariette, I mean, let's see, there's some comments here. You know, I agree on how to for women too. I think this is a comment about your book.
Yeah, I understand what she means.
Yes, and then Ray has jumped in there with a response. These are guys responding on Facebook. I noticed. So would you like to talk about the themes? Because the themes that you've focused on are more. It's a social commentary with a woman's with women at the center of the narrative. What are people writing about in Cameroon? Are they writing about the issues which are very important to their society they are in?
Can you rephrase?
Okay, so Annette was saying how, when they set up their publishing house, it was very important for them to bring in migration because it was a contemporary and important issue that had come up in their society. And I know that you've written the book you've published is a social commentary with the woman at the center of it. What I want to know is, apart from yourself, what are the trends in your society? Are people writing? What are the issues that people are writing about? Other publishers, so we just have an idea. What if I'm gonna? I know you say that it's sad and whatever, but if I'm gonna pick up a Cameroonian book, what are the typical things I'll be reading from there?
Yes. Okay. Typically, generally it's about relationships between men and women. Yes, that's I don't know. Yes, the topic people like to talk about here around. Of course, we have now what we call the Anglophone Crisis. Which is a conflict going on in the western part of the country. So of course, a few people are writing about that, but it's a political topic. So of course, people are a bit shy. They don't want to. Yes, not everyone is as courageous to talk about that. So that's the two topics I would say. Yes, that crisis and then daily life, marriage, relationships between men and women. This is the things people like to talk about in a novel, in a book.
Okay, thank you. So just some comments. Talula saying good job, Annette. Eva Cynthia saying great job, Annette. A great job, actually. Please keep up the good work. And I don't know if I want to jump in here with Edwige talking about people's responses. These are discussions on Facebook. So we are almost done with our 1 hour. I want you to think about your final statement for this event. But before you do that, I would like to know who are some of the people that I need to be reading from your space, like Annette, because you mentioned that you've published some Afro-Germans, but who are some of the people that I want to be reading if I'm going to be looking at the German publishing scene? Of course, we are interested in the Afro-German or Black German people because we are African. But so who are some of the people you would recommend us to read?
You mean German authors?
Yes, German.
Okay. Oh God. Sasha Stanisic. I don't know if you know him. His book Heimat.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a migration story, by the way, and it was a bestseller. But it's a very, very funny book about his perception of German society when he came as a boy from I don't know from Croatia, I think, or something. So that's a very good book. You should read.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh God, I have to think about it.
You can think about it. Mariette, do you want to give me one or two names from Cameroon?
Yes. Well, what name? You have she's a very young writer, but of course she's not. I think she's not maybe that popular internationally or even locally. Her name is Jamidi Bond. Yes, I think she writes the type of things I want to read. When you read a story, you are in Cameroon, because some people don't do that. You read a Cameroonian story, you have the impression that, I don't know, the person is in France, or I don't. Yes, it's not. it doesn't smell like the country, you know. So I have, yes, I have that author. And of course, we have that very famous Cameroonian author now. She's called Jaili Amadou Amal. She's competing for the Goncourt, Prix Goncourt in France right now. She's among the finalists.
Yes.
Yes, so you have her, of course. So that's
So
those are the two names, Jamidi Bond and Jaili Amadou Amal.
And Annette, maybe you can give us your. Ren Debbie is agreeing with you. He's saying it's true. Most authors in Cameroon crafted stories around men and women relationships. Yeah, okay, it's good. Everything is around men, women. So somebody is just corroborating what you've said. And as we now come to our end, Annette, would you like to maybe give us a closing statement about what you've just experienced? And maybe you can tell us how we can improve this, how we can improve this process to be more useful to other people who log in.
Mm-hmm. I really appreciate having known you, Mariette, and I think it's a very good way to get in contact. That's what I mentioned before, which is the problem, to get in direct contact with publishers from the African continent. So I really appreciate it, and I don't know what you could do better. I think it was good. I liked it.
Okay, so that is your closing statement to us on the internet. Mariette?
Yes. Yes, thank you too for inviting me here. Of course, it's a great opportunity for me. Yes, I really need to have relationships with other publishers around the world. So it was nice meeting Annette. I think we will chat after the show. Yes. Yeah. So thank you, James, for making it possible, of course.
Okay, thank you. Annette, if somebody wants to get a hold of you after this, do you have a website? Do you have a...
Yes, it's orlando.de.
Orlando.de. And you, Mariette, are you open to people?
Of course, I'm open, but we don't have a website yet. But we can be seen on Facebook, Nuances Maison d'édition. This is the address where people can write. Nuances, yes.
Okay. I just maybe you can just before we leave, I just want to have a small comment here. Edwish is saying, great, inspiring women, and great job, ladies. This was really, really nice. Annette and Mariette are great women, and we wish you all the best. We really wish you all the best. And Talula on YouTube is saying it was really cool. It was really cool. I've learned so much in the last 1 hour. So I'm going to end the broadcast, but ladies, don't leave yet. I want to thank you for being on the show today. I also want to thank my partners, Frankfurter Buchmesse, who helped me get the guests, and the federal government. The federal government refused to come out. The German federal government. Thank you to the German federal government for providing funding for this event. And for all of us who've been joined us for the last 1 hour, thank you so much. And I hope you have a great evening, a great afternoon, or great morning, whenever it is that you watch this. Good evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.